divers, and I don't think there's any biologist or any fishery scientist in Europe will come across a biomass of eels. The fishery is so healthy here. Again, they are super glued that the smaller eels get out, you know. You can see them here with the slime, and the eels have been getting in and out. I'm fishing in a wooden boat, 16 foot 6 inches here now. In Holland they use 50-foot boats and they use hundreds of nets, and they don't have a resource like this. They're recorded in the Book of Ancient Irish Antiquities, Waterford Estuary fishwares, and they basically had a great cultural importance for hundreds of years. They were belonging to the native Irish originally. A lot of them were taken by the landlord systems. These wares now are different than the salmon wares. These wares would catch cod, flounders, eels in the summertime, the bait for the eel fishery. Hake was also at one time very prevalent in Wales, particularly further down, and they're a monument that won't last if it's not used, because they have to be maintained. Well, it's not scientific. It's not done for scientific reason, because these eels, they come from the South Augusta Sea, the North Atlantic Drift, as elvers. They can arrive in any river, depending on the wind and the tide. Well, if these go away to spawn, and they come back, it'll be to the benefit of the Dutch fishermen or the British fishermen or even north of Ireland. If these eels were in Loch Ness, that's their value, €27 a kilo. There's an eel about a half kilo. That's what you're talking about. So, like, if we could smoke these, you know, have a heritage-based fishery there, because I've had visitors come up here and they're amazed that you have a thing here behind me that's over 1,000 years old that kept people alive during the famine. Like, there's even little ruins of buildings in there where people lived and prepared fish and all that in those woods. So these ancient structures, like, they were central to how the people lived, but this has not been counted. The potential that's here, like, there's a week's wages on, you know, you could say, and you have to dump it, you know. Ask a farmer to do that. Go out and see what grows on his land and ask him to dump it. You know, it's only in fishing that this is happening. And it's happening with a lot of species. You know, it's blatantly wrong. We had a fairly steady livelihood fishing eels. We also had the salmon. There was no account taken of that. It was just ignored. Like, when the consultations took place, there was one man in IFI suggested people, when somebody said, look, we have vans and we have to have these, he said, could you not use your vans for dog grooming? You know, that's a derogatory. I mean, a person should lose a job for a comment like that. I was at a conference there a couple of years ago, and apparently before the conference started, someone in inland fishery said the one thing now before it happens, these fellas are not getting back on the river. You know, that was a conference trying to empower a coastal community to get their rights back. So to wipe it, basically wiping out a whole way of life.